All right, so here we have Bitcoin on Bybit on the daily. Right now, we are being held up by the 21 and 50, and looks like we're trying to come down to this trend line at that 23,600, 23,500 level that we've been talking about. Did break down out of the bottom of this red zone, and now it looks like we're going to come down to the 21 and the 50 at about 23,500 to 600. Which would still be a higher low than this last low at about 23K. We need to stay above this trend line right now. RSI did just cross to the downside on the daily. MACD also trying to either get a retest or a cross. Positive momentum is decreasing on the histogram. Your MACD and your RSI are both momentum oscillators. They judge bearish and bullish momentum. Your BBWP, which measures volatility, is below its moving average, coming back down. Looks like we printed a dark blue read right here. Came back up. Now it looks like we're going to consolidate a little bit. We're basically going sideways in this red zone right now. So we're going to find out whether we can make a higher low or not. Let's go down to the 8-hour. So right now we are making a lower low on the 8-hour, but we are being held up by the 50. Like I said, we're probably at least going to get a wick down to this level, or the 50 will hold us up and we'll front run that trend line. Right now your RSI is below its signal line and coming down to test the bearish control zone. Last time we did this, we did bounce off that bearish control zone and came up for a pretty nice move. Let's see what that move was. From a wick to wick basis, it was about a 12% move. So if we do bounce off the bearish control zone at the same time as bouncing off this trend line, as your BBWP starts to work its way above its moving average, that's going to look good on the 8-hour. Let's move down to the 4-hour. So you also have your 100 coming in, of course, because your 50 on the 8-hour came in right at the trend line. Your 100 is also coming in at the trend line. We are in the bearish control zone now, below its signal line, also below the zero line on the MACD. It's not, as your BBWP is bouncing off its moving average and heading up. We need to get out of the bearish control zone. We're going to have high resistance because by the time we could turn around, the signal line is probably going to work its way down to the top of the bearish control zone. Now, we have came down to this level before on this last low and bounced off of it. Also this one. So we're going to have high support here. This would kind of correlate with us coming down to that trend line, and then maybe we bounce up. Last time we did reach that level, we worked our way up out of the bearish control zone, which kind of looks similar to what we're doing right now. But we'll find out. We need to hold that trend line. Let's go down to the 1-hour. So it looks like we broke below the red zone, came back up for a retest, and resumption down. Kind of have a tweezer top going on right now, candle formation. So that could imply that we do come down to the 23,600 level. We are in the bearish control zone on the RSI, also on the 1-hour. Retesting the signal line, resumption down. We do not have any divergences to be aware of. No, not even here. Let's see here. Actually, if we get this RSI a little lower and break this last low and confirm a low, we will have bullish divergence, which would also coincide with us coming down to this trend line. BBWP is working its way up into the upper zone. You are above your moving average as the price action is heading down. Once again, need to hold this trend line. That's basically the bearish case. If we break the trend line, I would expect us to come all the way back down to 22,500. Small bounce there, then all the way down to 19K, probably even lower. I would expect us to come down to this POC and get a bounce at the 23K first. On the VPVR here, this VPVR level, it's the POC point of control. It's the highest horizontal volume at a certain price level. That's what the POC is. The VPVR measures horizontal volume at certain price levels. So bullish case is that we get out of the bearish control zone on the 1 hour, get above that signal line. First, we need to get above the signal line, but if we can get above that signal line, I do think we break out of the top of the bearish control zone. We need to get above 23,787 in order to cross that signal line to the upside. We have a fresh cross to the downside on the MACD. Negative momentum is increasing. We need to turn this thing around and get back above 23,862. That would turn it around, and if we can get above 23,976, we will cross the signal line to the upside. Now, we got to get above 25K in order to break that zero line, but that would cascade us up to the 27K mark if we can get back above 22K. That would also be this last high. That would be a higher high on the daily. I really don't like how these moving averages are happening right here. This 50 looks like it's going to come down and cross the 200, or we get a retest. We had the multi-cross over here, so that could have already played out. So we could come back around here. You know, as you see, your 21 dropped below your 200 before and popped right back up right on this last low. We looks like we could do something similar, but that's the bullish case. So if we can get back above the 100 at 24,300, I would expect us to make a higher high, and I would expect us to go to 27K, possibly 28K. But that would also imply that we get out of the bearish control zone, cross this signal line, work our way up to the zero line, print some dark green bars on the histogram as your BBWP gets into the upper zone. So watch your trend line and watch this 100, 24,300, 25, 23,500. Those are your levels. So yeah, let's move on to Ethereum. By the way, if you guys are liking this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below, one being the Discord. Turn on the bell notifications. Get notified with this time-sensitive content. We stay ahead of the curve on this channel. And I mean, we continue to stay on the pulse of the markets. So here on Ethereum, looks like we did get a test of the top of the bearish control zone. Did fall below the signal line on this last tick. Wouldn't take much for us to turn around. We need to get above 1879 in order to get back above that signal line. MACD coming back down, possibly a retest or a cross. We need to stay above 1858 in order to stay above that signal line. We need to get back above 1880 in order to turn this around and get an upside curvature. Your BBWP, which also measures volatility, bounced off its moving average, resumed down. If we can curl this around and cross that moving average, that's when the volatility is going to happen. Kind of just consolidating sideways, some sort of a down-sloping channel. But we will find out which way it can break. If we break this last low at 1856, I would expect us to come down to this purple zone somewhere around 1790. So, you know, something like a $100 move would probably happen there. We need to hold the 200. I would like to see us hold the 200 right now. But if Bitcoin does come down and test that trend line, we could come down to this last low even, possibly reverse from there at 1850. I would expect at least a bounce from that level, it being a even number. So let's move on to the 4 hour. 4 hour here, we are making a higher low so far. So if we can bounce off this 50 and get back above this 21 at 1920, that's going to look very good. I would expect us to come up to the $2,100 mark. Riding the top of the bearish control zone right now. We don't really want to enter this. We definitely don't want to break this last low. So let's see here. Right now we could have bullish divergence if this is a confirmed low and we get back above this 21, which would probably lead us back up to the 2030 mark. MACD. Finding some support on the zero line right now. We are going to find support here. Negative momentum is decreasing on the histogram. We need to get it back above 1911 in order to turn this thing around. We need to get back above 2072 in order to cross the signal line. We need to get above 1915 in order to cross the zero line. BBWP is probably going to cross its moving average on this time. The volatility is coming. Now, whether it's to the upside or the downside depends on the bullish or bearish momentum once this BBWP crosses its moving average. So definitely watch your BBWP if you do use it, or some other measure of volatility. And then check out your bullish and bearish momentum. Check out your moving averages. Right now we're squeezing in between the 21 and the 50. Whichever way we break here, you know, if we break 1920, we're probably going to go back up to our last high at 2030. If we break and get a 1 hour closure below this level right here where we're at, basically this 1870 region, probably going to come down to this 100 at 1775. If we break that, I would expect a small bounce at 1713, another bounce at 1644 region, and then probably sit at 1575 and come back to it. This purple region, this purple line right here is going to be major support at the 17. I'm even going to bring this down to 1700 because it's an even number. You also got your POC, point of control, and your VPVR here coming in at that level. All right, let's move to the daily and zoom out a little bit. We got plenty of room to make a higher low. We could come all the way down to that purple region like I was talking about at 1770, bounce off this 21 and still make a higher low. RSI did just cross the signal line, getting rejected out of the bullish control zone. So we don't really want to pass this last low, because if we do, I would expect us to come all the way down to the 50 at the neutral median line. MACD coming back down for a retest at least. We'll find out whether this is just going to be a retest and resumption up, because we do look pretty good. I mean, we could consolidate here and kind of converge on the signal line, fake everybody out for a minute. But like I said, we come all the way down to the 21, still be in good shape. BBWP is starting to head down, probably going to cross its moving average unless we stay in the upper zone and the volatility continues. We have had a nice move on ETH. We're making higher highs, higher lows. So definitely watch the 21, watch the 1770 level, and we'll come back to it. Let's move on to Solana. Here on Solana, we are consolidating in the red zone. We have broken all major moving averages. 21 is crossing the 200 right now. We are, looks like we're trying to work our way out of the bullish control zone. We have quite a few drives of bullish divergence here. If this is a confirmed low and we can get a closure above this 21, we will have another drive of bullish divergence, and I would expect the volatility to continue. MACD bouncing off its signal line, trying to get some bullish momentum. We'll find out whether it can pick up. We need to get above this 50 in this last high at 44, basically 35. If we can get back above there, I do think we'll break this 100 at 45.24. I do think we'll break the red zone at 46.36. And break this last high, work our way up to $50. It's all on the 50, but your POC, point of control, also comes in at that level. It's going to be major resistance, major resistance. Your BBWP is heading down. So like I said, we could consolidate here for a little longer. But honestly, as soon as Bitcoin picks up, Solana will probably follow. Let's go to the 4 hour. So we still have a chance to make a higher low than this low right here. Kind of riding the top of the bearish control zone right now. Got rejected and front ran from the signal line. Losing its downside curvature here on the 0 line. We will have support here on the 0 line. We need to get back above $46 in order to cross that 0 line to the upside. Need to get back above $48 in order to cross the signal line. If we cross the signal line, I would expect us to cross the signal line of the RSI. I would expect the BBWP to cross its moving average, and I would expect us to break the 21 and these last highs at 44.50. And if that can happen, I think that's when we get on our way to $50. Let's go to the daily. Here on the daily, I mean, we're just consolidating sideways right now. You know, that's kind of what's been happening for, let's see here, since June 13th, about. Just basically consolidating sideways, a little bit up to the right, making higher highs, higher lows. RSI is in the neutral median zone right now. So we're pretty neutral on the daily. We are crossing the signal line to the downside. But a lot of this depends. See, I mean, look, the MACD is just going sideways. I mean, just kind of converging and diverging on that signal line. So, and your BBWP is heading down below its moving average down to the blue line. Consolidating sideways. Solana's neutral right now. We are being held up by the 21 and the 50, but, you know, these range plays, really don't want to trust the moving averages too much. So Solana's pretty neutral. So a lot of this is going to depend on what Bitcoin does. All right, so watch Bitcoin, and then you know, watch your BBWP on Bitcoin, then watch your bullish and bearish momentum, then come over here to Solana and see what it's doing. All right, that would be what I would do. All right, so let's move on to Doge. We're gonna do Doge today. So Doge has had quite the move. All your moving averages are looking good. They're fanned out. Could come down to the 21, or possibly you front ran it at 8 cents. At 0.0830 is where the 21 comes in at. So either you front ran this or you probably come down. You could come all the way down to the 50 and still make a higher low at 0. Basically 8 cents. You did fall out of the bullish control zone below your signal line, but it looks like you're trying to curl back around. MACD coming down for a retest. If not a cross, your positive momentum, I mean, fell sharply. So, and your BBWP is very high. So obviously you have high volatility right now. There was a lot of gains to be made on Doge recently. So watch your 21. If you break your 21, you probably come down to your 50. If you break your 50, that's not going to look too good. You probably make a lower low, and this rally would probably be over. You probably come down to your lows at about, let's see, probably 0.071, where this POC comes in at, and then come back to it. Now, if you continue to go up, let's put a fib on this and see where we could have some price discovery. So if we do come down to the 21, we'll say we come down to the 21, because that's highly probable. The next level I'd be looking at is the 1.618 at 0.091. Then I would be looking in between the 414 and the 618 at about 9.6 cents. And then we'll come back to it. Now, if you can break this last high, you're probably going to go up quite a bit. I'll leave that fib on for now. We'll come back to this tomorrow. If somebody does request it, leave me a comment in the leave me a comment in the comments and tell me whether you'd like me to do Doge again tomorrow or another coin. Possibly I'll include it in the video. I am going to try to take requests from now on, just as long as they're not too many. You know, maybe one coin per person a day, you know, and we'll just pick a couple coins out of the comments. So leave your coins in the comments. We'll pick one or two out of it daily, and yeah, we'll include them in the video. So like I said, either you front run the 21 or you come down to it. And I would expect major support there. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so you got destroyed here. All right, you got destroyed, but now this level right here is going to be major resistance. Basically where you got rejected before. Basically 8.5 cents. All right, now let's go ahead and delete these fibs. This was from a while ago. I'm going to delete this too. You are going to try, I mean, if you get rejected from here, let's check this out. Okay, so here on the daily, you're having a multi-crossover, all right? If these can cross the 100 and fan out, I would expect you to come all the way up to 10 cents, 10.5 cents, where this 200 lies. You are in the bullish control zone right now above your signal line. Strong upside curvature on the MACD. As your BBWP heads up into the upper zone, I do think this is still bullish. I mean, it looks bullish right now. Now, if we get rejected from this level and fall below this last low at basically 7.6 cents, that's not going to look good. I would expect us to give up this whole rally and probably head lower below this last low at 5 cents. But we'll find out. So, like I said, leave me a comment in the comment box. Tell me what coins you want me to do. And everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.